Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel, Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti. Today, I'm going to talk about a mantra that has great significance in Hinduism, and it's actually a universal mantra. It's a prayer for guiding our intellect in the right direction. It can also be considered a positive thinking mantra, or a mantra to help us make right decisions or help us arrive at the right decision-making process, or to help us make decisions that help us instead of cause us problems. So someone has defined life as a series of decisions. So if that definition is correct, I think it seems to be somewhat right. So that means if you add up the decisions that we make in the course of our lives, that's what determines the the future of our existence on this earth. That's what defines the quality of our existence on this earth. So if you add up all those decisions, that's what your life is all about on this earth. So in order to make right decisions, this mantra will help you direct your intellect. So how do we make decisions? We make decisions using our minds or intellects. That is the brain power. So this helps us activate our brains in the right direction. So it's also kind of prayer for light and brightness and effulgence. I think effulgence. What's the pronunciation? It's effulgence. Let's see, effulgence. Okay. Effulgence. So effulgence or radiance. So when your mind is full of light and brightness and effulgence, you'll start making the right decisions in your life. So it's a prayer to kind of activate the brain or to enlighten the brain so that your decisions become correct. So this is the book from which I'm going to explain this mantra. So this is called Prayer Guide, and this has been compiled from the recordings. I think the recordings of Swami Dayananda Saraswati were first transcribed, I think, and these were made into a book by his disciples, I guess. So most of his books have been written that way. I think his disciples usually recorded his teachings, and then they used to kind of it's kind of painful process. Painful in a sense. It's a kind of requires a lot of patience. So they used to listen to his talks, and then they used to transcribe his talks, and then edit them so that the repetitions and these anything that was not necessary for that specific teaching could be eliminated. So all the work of editing and transcribing, so it takes a lot of work. So his disciples usually put a lot of effort into editing his talks and making them into book form. So I recommend this book. You can buy it, especially for children. I mean, you can buy this and explain certain mantras and some Sanskrit shlokas. You can encourage them to memorize them and also to understand their meanings. For example, I'll just show you some examples from this. So there's a chapter called Mantras and Stotras. So you have these stotras: Shuklam Varadharam, then Agajanana Padmarkam, Yakundendu, Gayatri Mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurte, Mauna Vyakhya, Tat Purushaya Vidmahe, Na Tatra Suryo Bhati. I'm just mentioning some of them. Sri Rama Rama Rameti. And then there is an explanation of Om, then Rudram and Chamakam, Purusha Suktam, an introduction to Vishnu Sahasranam, Purna Kumbha Mantra, and so on. Then Kirtans, Vandeham Sharadam, and so on. Then the significance of Ramanavami, and Punya and Pap, and so on. Ritualistic prayer, Shraut Karma, Smarta Karma, and so on. So it's filled with excellent Sanskrit shlokas and Swami Dayananda Saraswati had a very unique way of unpacking and unfolding the meanings of Sanskrit shlokas. So I have many of his books. For example, the Home Study Gita, the Home Study Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to make a few videos on each of them. I think it's 9 volumes. And then I have his talks and his lectures or his teachings on the Upanishads. I think Mandukya Upanishad, or is it the Mundak Upanishad? And then the Kena Upanishad. So he had a very distinct and kind of unique way of explaining the Sanskrit shlokas and mantras that we need to know and that we need to ponder upon. So today I'm going to read from the section called Gayatri Mantra, and it appears in the Mantras and Stotras section of this book. So let me read it. And then we'll have a brief discussion on this. Gayatri Mantra. Now remember, it's a Vedic mantra, so you have all these Udat, Anudat, Swarit, I think. You have all these different ways of modulating it, but that can only be learned from someone who is well versed in the chanting of the Vedas. So I haven't learned that art. Also, some people I think that you actually get it from your guru, the particular or the specific modulation, but there are some symbols here. So I think there is a particular way of modulating the voice when you, I'm not sure whether my camera is capturing this. So you have all these symbols, right? So these tell you, how these need to be modulated. Anyhow, so let me read it. Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. So actually it's Om Bhuvah Swaha. So, but because of Sandhi, they kind of flow into each other, or they mingle with each other. They get mixed up. I mean, they kind of attach themselves to the following verses and they become one. So, Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. Now I think there are two. I think there is Jivva Muli and there is one more which I'm unable to recall. So after the sound, right, the visarga sound, if there is a pa or a pa or a ka or ka, there is a specific way of pronouncing. For example, I have seen some people pronounce it like this: Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. And I'll pronounce it the way it comes to me easily. So, Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. So let's read the meaning of it, and then Swami Dayananda Saraswati will unpack this in an excellent way. Om, the Lord. Om, the Lord. Om, the Lord, is earth, the space in between, and the heavens. That Lord is the one who is the most worshipful. We meditate on that effulgent, all-knowledge Lord. May He set our intellects in the right direction. The Gayatri Mantra is an excellent prayer. The sense of the prayer is, may the Lord brighten my mind and make me think properly so that I make proper decisions. Life is a series of decisions, big and small. Wrong decisions result in your being in the wrong place or in the right place, but at the wrong time. You are successful when you are in the right place at the right time, but nobody knows what the right place is or when it is the right time. It all depends upon your decisions. Sometimes it is difficult to know what is right and what is wrong. It is confusing. Therefore, you require clarity and inner leisure to make decisions correctly so that you do not act impulsively. Generally, one would pray for knowledge, a job, money, power, and so on. But this is not such a prayer. This prayer is only for clarity of thinking. Everything else will come if clarity is there. If Goddess Saraswati is there, Goddess Lakshmi is bound to come. Saraswati makes it possible to acquire Lakshmi. So, Goddess Saraswati, in a sense, knowledge. Goddess Lakshmi, in a sense, material prosperity. Nevertheless, Lakshmi takes away all our time and energy. The entire time of a human being is consumed at the altar of Lakshmi. Now, this is generalization. I don't think everyone's focus is on that. But whenever you read some something, it's very important to keep our minds very open and to question certain things. So the line is this: nevertheless, Lakshmi takes away all our time. And I don't think so. I don't think that's true. But anyhow, not everyone focuses on Lakshmi alone all the time. Nevertheless, Lakshmi takes away all our time and energy. So this is a generalization which I question. The entire time of a human being is consumed at the altar of Lakshmi. Money, including real estate, is Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi. It means the happiness born out of money. Lakshmi does not mean mere money. Money can bring sorrow too. Lakshmi is the happiness. Lakshmi is the happiness born of money. Food is Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi or Anna Lakshmi. Marriage is Vara Lakshmi. Then you have Agriya Lakshmi, having a home and domestic happiness. Children are Santan Lakshmi. Any success is Jaya Lakshmi. Dhairya Lakshmi is courage, enterprise, and so on. So all the important things in life, such as money, job, health, food, home, marriage, and children, are all Lakshmi. Even though you may have all of this, unless Goddess Saraswati is also present, you cannot enjoy any of them. Therefore, you invoke Saraswati first. That is the mark Lakshan of a real Hindu. You have to have your priorities clear about what signifies real sampat, wealth. Once you have that, everything will come to you. Even if you have nothing else, you can still be happy sitting under a tree. This is the essence of the Gayatri Mantra. Now there will be an unpacking of this great mantra. Gayatri is the name of a chandas, meter, consisting of 24 syllables having 3 padas, lines, unlike Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yutsava, that has 4 quarters, being Anushtup chandas. Gayatri is the name of the mantra as well as the meter. This mantra is in all the 4 Vedas, and therefore it is the most sacred and popular among the mantras for initiation. The deity of the mantra is Savitri. Is it Savitri or Savitri? Savitri, I think, because the anyway, you have this bar, like the horizontal bar above the A, so it's not there. So I'm pronouncing it Savitri. I don't know. Should it be Savitri? The Gayatri Chandas is used only in the Veda, and there is a mantra set in the Gayatri Chandas for every Devata. All the Gayatri mantras end with Prachodayat. The word Dhimahi will also be there in every one of them. Now, there is an unpacking of each or some of the words in groups. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha. Om is the Lord. We invoke the Lord as the source of all blessings, as the one who protects and sustains this world. The Lord is equated to all the 3 worlds, Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha. Because these words are in apposition, I think it's apposition. There is a case in apposition. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. So, apposition is where you say, for example, the President Abraham Lincoln. So, President and Abraham Lincoln refer to the same person. Or Abraham Lincoln, the President. So, the President and Abraham Lincoln are in the same case. So, these are called case in apposition. Let me see whether my pronunciation is correct.
Apposition.
Yeah, apposition. And the meaning is this: a construction in which a noun or noun phrase is placed with another as an explanatory equivalent, both having the same syntactic relation to the other elements in the sentence. For example, Copley and the painter. Now this is the sentence. The painter Copley was born in Boston, just like I said, President Lincoln, or Lincoln the president was born. I'm not sure where he was born, but what I'm trying to say is, this is what apposition means. That's what Swami Dayananda is talking about. Because these words are in apposition, samanadhikaranya, to one another, they refer to the same substantive. Substantive is a noun. Om is Bhu, the earth. Om is Bhuva, everything above the earth. Om is Swaha, or whatever is beyond our mind, beyond the scope of our perception. Om is a part of the mantra. Bhur Bhuva Swaha, which is only an explanation of Om, is not part of the mantra. Tad Varenyam. That Vastu Om is indicated by Tat. Varenyam is Varaniyam, the one to be worshipped, to be invoked, and whose blessing is to be sought. Savitu Devasya Dhimahi. Dhimahi, we invoke. The verb Dhimahi is in the plural because the one who prays includes all others in his or her prayer. Both Savitu and Devasya go together. They are in the 6th case. It means we invoke the Lord Devasya, the effulgent being who is in the form of Savitra. Savitra means the sun, standing for the whole cosmos. We invoke that Lord who is in the form of Savitra Mandalam, We dwell upon that Lord who is also like the Savitra, the sun who is all effulgence. Just as the sun is free from darkness, so too is the Lord, all knowledge, one who is free of ignorance. Here we invoke the Lord. Yah Bharga. Bharga means the one who burns all ignorance, confusion. Therefore, he, the all-knowledge Bharga, who burns all my confusion, therefore he, the all-knowledge Bharga, who burns all my confusion, nah dhiya prachodayat, nah asmakam, our, dhiya, minds, prachodanam, kuryat, may brighten. Prachodanam also means set. May the Lord set our minds to proper thinking so that we make proper decisions in our life. The prayer is, May our ways of thinking lead to right decisions. May we have our minds under our control and may we think properly. While in the beginning the Gayatri Mantra is a prayer, later it becomes a mantra for contemplation. So this is what I wanted to read for today's video. Let's just briefly discuss this mantra. So as Swami Dayananda Saraswati said, this is a mantra for right decisions and for seeking help for the mind. I mean, seeking the help of this divine energy, the divine force to guide and enlighten our minds so that we could make the right decisions in our lives and so that we could control our mind so that we think only what we ought to think and we don't think what we ought not to think. So, So what will be the consequence of chanting this mantra and also meditating upon it and also deciding to act upon it? So the effect will be that we will get rid of negative thinking, because negative thinking is not the way. It's not the way God has designed our minds to work. So when we seek the help of the divine for guiding our minds in the right direction, we will start making right decisions in life. And we'll turn away from all negativity. We'll turn away from all thought processes that do not help us. So in a way, it's a mantra for positive thinking. I think I remember many years ago, I think it was almost a decade ago or more than a decade ago, I received a call from an unknown number. I picked up the phone and the person on the other side said, we belong to the Gayatri Parivar, which was established by Sri Ram Sharma Acharya. And he said that we promote positive thinking, so why don't you read our literature and visit our bookshops that are in almost all major cities in India and even in some towns. And I found out the location and I visited their place in Chennai. It was very close to one of the schools where I studied. So I found the location and I found great joy in the literature of Swami. In the literature of Sri Ram Sharma Acharya. So he's written, I think, thousands of books. So I used to buy most of his booklets and also some of the books from his complete works. I mean, it's a huge voluminous set. I had around 10 or 11 books, maybe 10, 15 books from that set. So he was a great promoter of this Gayatri Mantra, Sri Ram Sharma Acharya. So if you want to know more about him, just Google Gayatri Parivar or Sri Ram Sharma Acharya, you'll come to know of his books and works. So that's what I wanted to discuss today. So just teach this mantra to your children. You yourself understand its meaning and then chant it and also ask the divine power to keep guiding your mind and intellect so that you continue to make the right decisions and so you live a good life on this earth. When I say good life, I don't mean just physical prosperity, but also peace of mind, lack of worry, lack of tension, and living a life full of joy on this earth as long as we draw breath on this earth. So until we draw the last breath, we should live joyously. God doesn't intend us to be depressed. God doesn't intend us to have anything to do with negativity. Positivity is for the devotee especially. Anyone who claims to be a devotee of God should always be positive. That's what will draw people to you, so that if you want others also to be believers in God or the divine source that has made us all, then you should lead a life of positivity and full of joy and enthusiasm and cheerfulness. And that's what this mantra will do for you. It'll help you make the right decisions. It'll help you ward off or keep away all negativity, and will make you a shining example of how life should be led on this earth. Thanks for watching.